Hi, my name is Waisha. Welcome to my channel. For those of you who are returning, welcome back. In today's video, I am so excited because I want to share some of the tips and tricks to help you get started on your juicing journey as seamless as possible. So I started my journey roughly about a year ago. Actually, yes, a little over a year now. And I've had my trials of ups and downs and just figuring it out as I go. And throughout this journey, I decided to document a workbook for you guys. It's absolutely free. If you don't remember some of the tips in this video, be sure to download my free resource in my description below, where it tells you everything that you need to know to get started on your juicing journey. In the meantime, we're going to share some of these tips in this video, and then hopefully you're able to get started with your juicing journey as soon as possible because the benefits are endless. Some of them include weight loss, clear skin, improved digestion, and so much more. It's one of the tools that I use consistently to keep my health on track and also keep my weight down as well. So I'm excited. So I'm just going to cover some of the key things that I needed to know starting my juicing journey, and hopefully it's able to help you start yours. And one of the first things is picking the right juicer. I feel like you can't start your juicing journey without a juicer. You know what I'm saying? So one of the things that I learned is that there's three types of juicers. There's the centrifugal juicer, there's the masticating juicer, and then there's the large cold press juicers that squeeze on the produce. I found that masticating juicers are the best ones, and the reason being is that centrifugal juicers, although they are the most inexpensive juicers, it didn't make me quite consistent because I hated it. I hated the process of using that juicer to juice anything. The cleanup was a headache, the juicing was a headache, the preparation was a headache, and it just wasn't sustainable for me. So I found that I wasn't juicing nearly as much. So with all that being said, if you're just getting started on your juicing journey and you want to take it seriously, I recommend masticating juicers. One of my favorite juicers is the Nama J2 juicer, but it is on the expensive end. Right now, I believe it's running for like $550, but there are some discounts out there to where you could probably get, if I'm not mistaken, like $50 off or a percentage off, you know. However, if you want to get started and want to use something that's a little less expensive, I recommend some of the juicers on Amazon. I have a couple videos. I'll leave a link to my playlist below where you can check out some of the inexpensive Amazon juicers that I was finding and testing. Some of my favorites is the cannoli juicer, and I'm also trying the AMZ Chef juicer coming soon. So stay tuned and subscribe if you want to see that video. So after finding a masticating juicer that you love, I then recommend juicing with certain produce first. And the reason being is I find that when you jump into ingredients that are a little bit more bitter, it kind of discourages, at least me, it discouraged me in the beginning because I'm like, yeah, I want to juice, but I want it to taste good. You know what I'm saying? Like, so for me, I found juicing things like watermelon and pineapple. It's a really sweet combination, but it's very tasty. Juicing things like green apple with pineapple or cucumbers. There's certain mixtures I would recommend, specifically on the sweeter side, to get started, because once you are drinking things that you enjoy, you're gonna find that you want to do it more. Now I want to talk a little bit about preparation, right? So cleaning the fruits and veggies. For me, I found that when you're working with greens like kale, spinach, even lettuce, I recommend using some type of salt because I found that the salt in the water kills the bugs and it also floats them to the top, right? So I like adding vinegar to my produce washes. Sometimes I use baking soda, but I learned to use them separately. I found that if you combine baking soda and vinegar, it may cancel each other out, apparently. I don't know. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but Dr. Bronner's is a soap that you can use for pretty much anything. You can use it for bathing, you can use it for cleaning produce, you can use it for cleaning your dishes, you can use it for wiping down your countertops and just all types of cleaning because it's an organic product. It's really nice. I'll leave a description in my link below if you're curious to check them out. Another question I get asked often is how much juice should you consume in a juice cleanse? And this is extremely important because I did not do that right in the beginning. I was not drinking nearly enough, and the reason being is I found that as I went on in my juice cleanses, specifically the extended ones, the less I actually wanted to eat or drink. I feel like I needed less, but just because I felt that way doesn't mean that was true, because I was going on and I was drinking less and less, and I was really starting to experience the symptoms of being faint or of being dizzy or just feeling ill, honestly, feeling like I didn't have enough energy. So what's recommended is drinking 16-ounce jars of juice, or if you want to just consume much more, you can get the 64 ounces and then drink that. So the goal is to drink about 96 ounces a day per juice cleanse. And this is if you're doing juice only. Of course, if you're just consuming, juices throughout the week with food, you could pretty much do what you want there. So for me, in my normal day-to-day, I usually drink one of these in the morning and maybe another one throughout the day. If I'm specifically consuming juices, then I will obviously drink much more now that I know better. And I found that using these large ones help because for me, I noticed that when you start drinking it, you have to go through it pretty quickly or else it will spoil sitting at room temperature. So yeah. Storage, that's another thing we want to be mindful of. So for me, I noticed that when I fill it to the very top of these mason jars, at least, it gets out all of the oxygen, and to me it helps make it fresh much longer. So for this one, I see that there's going to be an oxygen gap in here, so I will probably want to consume this first versus one that is full to the top here. I noticed that these last much longer than if you took a sip out of it and then put it back in the fridge. So that's just something I picked up on as I've been juicing lately. Another thing is be sure to consume your juices within 72 hours. Honestly, if you could consume it much faster, the better, because you're able to keep all the nutrients and stuff at its optimal. But if not, be sure to consume it within 72 hours. Anything after that, it's pretty bad. And this is with it being refrigerated. Now, you can also freeze these juices as well, but you have to have the appropriate container. So if you're gonna have jars, which I highly recommend, I don't recommend plastic. So you're gonna wanna find jars that are straight up and down to the top. And I believe that they're on Amazon as well. I'll be sure to leave, links to all of this stuff in my description below. But you definitely want to use the jars that are just straight up and down with the top on it. And the reason being is that once it expands, it won't be breaking into any type of bends or anything in the glass. One thing I recommend too when you start your juicing journey is juicing diversity. And what I mean by that is I recommend having a bunch of different kinds of juices, like watermelon juice, pineapple juice. You could have an apple, celery, spinach juice, whatever it is. Have a variety. And I'm saying this because I found that in the beginning I tried to do like a long extended juice cleanse with purely watermelon juice. Now, watermelon juice is absolutely amazing. It's one of my favorite juices. However, I found that when I was doing that for an extended time, my body was like, I need a little more. This water is good, you're getting the hydration, but you know what I'm saying? So things like pineapple, for example, especially in the beginning of my juicing journey, was an amazing help to me because pineapple is very dense. It almost gives you the feeling of eating something. So another thing I want to talk about is detox symptoms. And this is important because in my journey, I realized that every single time I started a juice cleanse, I had a detox symptom. I'll also, after this, share how to minimize the symptoms a little bit. But before I do, let me talk about the symptoms. So one of the main ones that happened for me was headaches. And these headaches will last at least 3 days starting off my juice cleanse. Another big one is fatigue. So sometimes I'm just like, I don't have the energy. And what I recommend is managing your energy a bit better during the juice cleanses, meaning if you find yourself getting drained being in social situations and you're about to start your juice cleanse, I recommend avoiding those type of situations. Another thing is digestive changes. So I was really afraid in the beginning because I was doing these juice cleanses, I was looking great, I was losing the weight, my skin was shining, and I wasn't using the bathroom. You know what I'm saying? Like, where's you read between the lines, you hear what I'm saying without me saying it, you know what I'm saying? What I recommend to minimize those detox symptoms is to ease into your juice cleanse. And what I mean by that is start cutting out meats from your diet. Start reducing your dairy intake, for example. Anything that may cause inflammation in the body, I would remove it from my diet very slowly right before the cleanse. So some of the things that I do, I don't consume meat or dairy, so for me it's a little bit easier, but I would try to focus on eating more fruits, more veggies. I would try to start cooking a little less as I'm approaching the juice cleanse, right? I may start tipping into the raw a little bit, eating more salads. And then I realized that once I jump into the juice cleanse, it's a little easier. 2 weeks before you start your juice cleanse, and it could be slow and gradual. When I say 2 weeks, I don't mean cutting meat directly, you know. It could be eating a little less meat and dairy up until the days that you are completing your juice cleanse. Preferably, if you could have it rid from your diet roughly a week before, I think that would be the best to minimize some of that detox symptoms. Alright, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below and I'll be sure to answer every single one of them. And if you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share the love. I would truly appreciate it. And I hope to see you all in the next videos. Alright, peace and love.